Alright, what's good YouTube? Gentleman Thomas here, coach of the Copenhagen Galates with my UPA Week 5 team builder. This week we are going up against the Carolina Crobats, coached by Mrseacoore. Mrseacoore is actually a fellow YouTuber, though he has recently decided to step a little bit back from YouTube. I personally think that's unfortunate because I like watching his videos, but I completely understand that if you feel the need to, you of course have to. His team is a kind of not typical, but somewhat straightforward rain team. But even if it's straightforward, it's really, really good still. Sorry. So he has Mega Swampert, Rewild, Pelipper, Roserade, Metagross, Drodigon, Dodrio, Zapdos, Silvally, Primeape, and Golduck. He has 3 Stealth Rock setters in Mega Swampert, Metagross, and Drodigon, a Spike and T-Spike setter in Roserade, 3 Defog users in Pelipper, Zapdos, and Silvally, and a Aromatherapy user in Roserade. Now, as I said, he has a rain team, and the rain team is, I know it's that straightforward, and that might be a bit mean because it's not really straightforward. It's of course Pelipper and Mega Swampert. He has Golduck as a secondary option for Swift Swim. Then he has Weavile, Roserade, and Zapdos, which are 3 really good mons to go against teams that want to counter rain. Then he has Metagross and Drodigon, which are 2 really good defensive options that can also be really good offensively, or in Metagross's case, it's actually more of an offensive option that could be really good defensively. Then you have Silvally, that could be any type at once. Which is a really good utility mon. It can also be really scary with a Flame Charge Sword Stance set. Then he has Primeape and Dodrio, which they're kind of there. Like Dodrio gives him a good speed tier between the Zapdos and Weavile, and it can hit pretty good. Plus, it gets Sword Stance, so it can do a lot. And Primeape is it's a solid fighting type from the 5th tier, I think it is in. So it's solid from that. But otherwise, I don't think they can really fit on his team. What I think he will bring is probably the Mega Swampert, the Weavile, the Pelipper, the Roserade, the Zapdos, and then either Metagross, Drodigon, or Silvally. He could potentially swap out, I think, Roserade for either of those other 3. He could throw in Golduck to kind of have the secondary rain option. But to go against his team this week, I have Mew, also known as Avatar. It's holding a Colbur Berry this week. It's a timid nature with 88 HP, 0 defense, 204 special attack, 0 special defense, and 216 speed. It has Psychic, Power Gem, Roost, and Nasty Plot. And the reason for the Colbur Berry is pretty obvious, I think. I want to be able to take a hit from the Weavile, and I can do it as long as the Weavile is not +2, because if he is +2, he can actually just go for Triple Axle if he carries that. So it's kind of risky with Colbur Berry. Maybe like a Focus Sash might be better to as a last ditch effort, but that requires me to have any sort of hazard off the field. And while I do have a remover on the team this week, it is going to be somewhat difficult in some situations. Now, Mew with Nasty Plot, Psychic Power Gem, and of course Roost. As you can see, I cannot touch the Metagross at all. Even if I go +2, Psychic isn't doing too much to the Metagross, Power Gem isn't doing anything to the Metagross. So I definitely need other mons to deal with the Metagross. And to start off with that, I have Terrakion, also known as the Diesel. It's kind of standard. It's Life Orb, it's Jolly Nature, 64 HP, 252 attack, 0 defense, 0 special defense, and 192 in speed. This allows me to outspeed the Zapdos. We have Stone Edge, Earthquake, Close Combat, and Sword Stance. Dual Stab completely decimates his entire team except one Mon, and that one Mon is weak to Earthquake. Now, I do think his Metagross could carry Sugarberry this week to deal with Terrakion, because if it's Sugarberry or maybe even well, Air Balloon is risky because that means he can't swap it in, but he could carry Sugarberry, so I definitely have to watch out for that. If he brings it in on Terrakion, I have to think he's either Sugar, his Choice Scarf, or potentially Choice Band with Bullet Punch. But other than that, Terrakion kind of goes in on his team. The reason why I think Silvally could come would be for Terrakion. It could be a Silvally Fairy, most likely, with a defensive Silvally, so that he can actually take a close combat because he doesn't have even Roserade, Roserade or Pelipper, which resisted. Roserade doesn't have a lot of defense, so it doesn't really want to take a close combat. And Pelipper is weak to Stone Edge, so it would have to be a defensive Scarf Pelipper to really outblow my mind here. I mean, he could be. Don't get me wrong. His Zapdos could definitely also be a defensive Zapdos with like a Chardy Berry. I definitely think that's a possibility. Because if I close combat on a Zapdos and I get static, that's really, really bad actually. Um, so I kind of have to really play careful with Terrakion and maybe not close combat too often. And Stone Edge does kind of the same work as close combat does. Now, the next mon is actually already going to be the start of our defensive core this week because I'm playing a little bit more defensive this week than I have the other weeks, and that is Noivern, also known as Banshee. She is holding her heavy duty boots, so when switching in, she is unaffected by hazards. It's a timid nature with 248 HP, 0 defense, 0 special attack, 188 in special defense, and 72 speed. This is meant to combat the Roserade. The ability I've chosen this week is Frisk because he might carry Substitute on some mons, but I think the mons he would carry Substitute on are not mons Noivern does well against anyway, so I don't think it's worth running Infiltrator. So I definitely think Frisk to kind of figure out which items he has is more important. Or it's not more important, but it's better this week. The moveset is Air Slash, Super Fang, Roost, and Defog. Now, as you can see, Air Slash it hits the roast rate and it hits anything but the Metagross or the Zapdos as well. Or maybe if he's like I guess a rock type or steel type Silvally. I highly doubt he will be that. And that's why I have Super Fang over potentially Flamethrower because I don't really know. I can't really have one move that hits both the Metagross and the Zapdos. So I think having Super Fang to lower their HP by 50% is good enough. And then we have Roost for longevity, and I had to unfortunately fit Defog on Noivern. I would have preferred to potentially have U-turn so I can U-turn out on. I swap in on his Rose Rate and then U-turn out when he swaps out, most likely. I would have preferred that, but I had to run Defog because I want to make sure I can keep Spikes, T-Spikes, Stealth Rocks off the field. Now, continuing our defensive core this week is a mon I've brought 3 times two times so far, and this is the third time, and all times I've been so insecure about how it's gonna perform. And that is Grimstyle, also known as Azeroth. It's holding the Light Clay this time, so the holder's use of Aurora Veil, Light Screen, or Reflect lasts 8 turns instead of 5. It's the Prankster ability. So this means that I can't put screens up against the Weavile, which you can guess I have screens. But other than that, I can actually put screens up against anything and be pretty safe doing it. Even if it's the Roserade, if I put up a light screen, Sludge Bomb doesn't kill. It does a lot, of course, because it's a Roserade. It hits hard no matter what. But yeah, so I'm a careful nature with 248 HP, 0 attack, 40 in defense, 220 in special defense, and 0 in speed. Now, the 40 in defense are actually really important because that means I can take one hit, one full triple axle from the Weavile, no matter what, if he is not choice banned. If he's choice banned, of course I can't. If he's +2 after a sword stance, of course I can't. But a life of max attack, Jolly. It has to be Jolly, but I do think he's gonna be Jolly because, well, actually, maybe he might actually run Adamant because if he has Ice Shot, Triple Axle, Knockoff. I don't think he needs to run Jolly. He can run Adamant because that would mean that Ice Shot would take care of Noivern, which is the only mon that outspeeds, can outspeed an Adamant Weavile. So he might be Adamant. That would be unfortunate, but I hope he's Jolly. Now, the moveset is Spirit Break, Power Whip, Reflect, Light Screen. Spirit Break is stab. It lowers special attack, which means I can use it against Zapdos, Roserade, Pelipper. Silvally, if he's a special Silvally, and kind of whittle down their special attacks so they don't do a lot of damage. Power Whip is only there for the Mega Swampert. I mean, it hits the Golduck and the Pelipper too, but even Pelipper it's neutral, so I might as well Spirit Break. Um, but yeah, Power Whip is just there for the Mega Swampert. I think I have a chance to kill. I believe it was, but and again, he can run a bit of bulk and Mega Swampert, so I can be 100% sure. But against the Mega Swampert, I can always put up a Reflect or most likely a Reflect, of course, and take more hits than without the Reflect, of course. So I'm not too worried about that. The defense is mostly there to take a hit from Weavile if I need to. Now the next mon on the team is a mon. I keep bringing it, even though I kind of dislike it. What is weird? It's Vaporeon, also known as All Blue. Um, I opted to go for the safe set this week again, with the leftovers and water absorb. Originally, the set I had made was a air balloon set, which made it so the Mega Swampert could not waterfall me, it could not EQ me, it would have to either Ice Punch or Power Punch, which Power Punch I didn't really think he could bring, but I do think he needs Ice Punch because otherwise he doesn't hit the Noivern at all now, almost. I definitely think it's gonna be Waterfall, Earthquake, Ice Punch, and then the fourth move can be it could be Toxic, it can be Substitute, it could be Power Punch, it could be whatever. But we are a bold Vaporeon with 248 HP, 240 in defense, 0 special attacks, 20 in special defense, and 0 speed. We have Scald, Flip Turn, Wish, and Toxic. I really, really, really wanted to fit Protect on this, but I do think the utility in Flip Turn and Toxic, Scald and Wish, of course, I wanna have, but Flip Turn and Toxic, I definitely think the utility in that is gonna be good against this team. I want to be able to Flip Turn my way out of there if I'm in against like the Pelipper and he swaps out, or if I'm in against maybe the Weavile and he switch out. Um, but I also have Toxic because if I can predict the Zapdos, especially the Zapdos, and I can Toxic that would be great. That would be amazing because I don't think he can fit aromatherapy on his Roserade if he brings it. I think he wanna have dual stab, and he wanna have potentially spikes, and then either leech seed or synthesis. I guess he could go no spikes and then go leech seed aromatherapy, or some sort of healing and an aromatherapy. He could do that. But yeah, Vaporeon is here. It's kind of the counter for Swampert. It's also kind of countered Weavile. It kind of counters Metagross, which that's why I wanted Protect, because I want to be able to guarantee be able to heal myself up. Because if I wish and he swaps into Zapdos, I'm not guaranteed to be able to stay in and take the hit. Where if I had Protect, I could wish, I could Protect, and then I could swap out. So it's very risky not having Protect, but I do want to be able to have the option to Flip Turn out or Toxic Summons. Now, the last mount on the team this week is the Captain Kit, the Mega Steelix. It's holding the Steelix sights. It's a Sandforce mon. It is what it is. It's a bold nature with 248 HP, 224 in defense, and 36 in special defense with 0 speed and 0 attack. We have Earthquake, Stone Edge, Heavy Slam, and Stealth Rock. Now, this is kind of a soft counter to Weavile. Now, I know what you're thinking, but Weavile's strongest move, Triple Axle, is neutral on this, where Vaporeon resists it. Well, the thing is, Vaporeon doesn't do a whole lot back to Weavile, so if he's some sort of bulky Weavile with substitute, I actually can't break this up always. He has to have a pretty decent amount of bulk, but still. So therefore, Mega Steelix is guaranteed to always break this up. No matter, I mean, he could be Babiri Berry max defense, and I would still break it and pretty much almost kill him if I could damage through the substitute. So that's why this is being brought as a defensive option. I have Earthquake for the Metagross. I have Stone Edge for Zapdos, Pelipper. I have Heavy Slam for Stab and of course Weavile, and then of course I have Stealth Rocks. I do think I do think getting my rocks up is going to be kind of difficult in this match because I don't want to be in against the Mega Swampert. I don't want to be in against the Pelipper. I don't want to be in against the Roserade. The Zapdos I might want to be in against, and the Weavile and the Metagross. But again, it really much depends on what he brings of moves. Heck, I don't even want to be in against the Golduck if he brings that. So yeah, that's the team this week. I'm nervous about this match. I think I prepared myself decently defensively, but I do have some concerns. Should I lose to Ragian somehow? I think breaking down his team is going to be really, really difficult because Mew doesn't touch the Metagross, and after that, I would have to whittle it down with Super Fang, Noivern, Scald, Vaporeon, Earthquake, Mega Steelix, and those are mons that are meant to have as much health as possible. So if the Metagross starts making a dent in them, I just will start losing there. But yeah, so that was the team. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like on the video. Leave a comment in the comment section telling me what if you like the team, if you don't like the team. Tell me what you would have changed, what you would have brought. And of course, subscribe to the channel. With that, I'm out. Peace, YouTube.